we'll see what we can do as we go through here. So special thanks to Cyrus Kafash, the Whisper Boy. I'm so excited that he has taken this on, and just is so excited about what's coming down the pike with Erada. It's like a baby when you birth something like this. You want to nurture it and keep nurturing it. So that's what we're doing right here. Special thanks to Paulette Hallam for being my accountability partner and friend and colleague, and us working together. And thank you for being here. And Jasmine as well. Your beautiful work and your support is deeply appreciated. And so, for all of you who are listening today, what we want to talk about during this hour, along with several other things, is cultivating our ability to intending something so that we can grow in awareness. Now, an intention leads to the result of a goal. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, is intention. And intention means a lot of different things. It's what you want. And it's really important that you want it very, very, very much. In fact, you want it so much, it will make such a difference in the world once you produce this thing that you want to bring into the world, your goal, that you want it so much that any fears you have, which are very normal because you have not done it before or you failed at it before. So achievement itself, the best way to achieve a goal with consistency is to have it be very clear and very intentional. Intentional meaning, well, why do you want it? What difference is it going to make in the world? Does it matter? Of course it matters. Is this the most important thing to you right now? It must be. You must fall in love with it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be obsessed all day, every day. But what it does mean is that whenever you think about it, you get goosebumps. You get excited. You get exhilarated just at the idea of already having what you want. So for me, visualizing the book in print, right, it was very important. It took a number of years to reach it, but the intention was always to complete the process. And so in being intentional, when you're intentional and you're specific, what actually happens is you stay motivated and inspired long enough to achieve it. If you already knew what it was or how to do it, and you have done it before, then you could have already done it again. And the purpose of a goal is to stay motivated until you achieve it. So how are you going to do that? Well, you're going to do that, first of all, by picking something that scares you, but that makes a big difference. And the big difference it makes has to outweigh what scares you. This is how we create a vision for the future. This entire book, my friends, over 25 years ago, roughly, this is about 25 years ago, that it was all visualized. It was nothing more than an idea. But when you use your imagination, some magical things happen. The first thing that happens when you imagine already having this thing that you intended, right? So for me, goals, purpose, vision, mission are all intentions. These are things I want to do. I'm really clear about it, and I'm going to take a few steps. But this is how you create your future. You picture yourself already having the thing. And that is what has you visualize in the future and excites you again. And it is that vibration, the way you feel, that is the direct source of how quickly you're going to achieve the goal. But you have to continuously do this every so often, every day, every other day, for a few minutes. Remember what it is you want. Picture yourself already having that intention fulfilled. And when you do that, the vibration of how you feel based on what you're thinking That amplitude is what will set the pace for how long it will take you to achieve your goal. So, and it is that motivation that helps you not get discouraged. And yesterday we talked a little bit about when you have an intention to complete something, to set a goal and to achieve it, there are going to be things that get in the way. And this is why you don't set every step, because those steps that you set to achieve your goal were yesterday's thinking, but you know more today. And you've also caused the universe to start sending you people and opportunities to help you get there. Our universe of love is there to support us. Sometimes we don't achieve our intention or our goal by when we think, because the universe says, you know what, you haven't done the work yet. That's effectively what happened with this book. I knew, even though I had the outline through visualization, I could not write it. I was not ready to write it. So that I'll stop right there, Cyrus. And what else would you? I hope that was helpful. Did you have any questions? Hi, everybody. Hi, OG. So glad you're here. It's so good to see you. So, what are your thoughts about what I shared about standing in the future as though you already have it, to keep yourself motivated and excited to actually use the vibration of your words to excite your whole body? So, what are your thoughts, my friends?
I was going to say, first of all, thank you so much for this beautiful start to the show.
Thank
And
you.
As we discussed in first session, you cannot feature in a future you can't picture. Okay, think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to visualize it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you need
That's
to
right.
be able to visualize it. That's one. And I have different ways of showing how I feel as an artist. And here's another way.
Leslie Flowers, the queen of dreams and magic powers. She paints the stars, draws the skies, where magic lives and never dies. In Arada's world, her voice is gold. Her stories touch both young and old. Through every line, the heart she frees. In her words we find the keys. She walks the line of fate and chance, spinning tales that make us dance. With rivers clear and glowing streams, she fills our hearts with endless dreams. A crown of stars upon her brow, she leads us through the here and now. Leslie Flowers, the queen of dreams and magic powers. She paints the stars, draws the skies, where magic lives and never dies. In a riot's world, her voice is gold.
Okay, now in um, in 1934, on 5th of July, Robert Corlett Proctor was born. He was a Canadian self-help author and lecturer. He was best known for his New York Times best-selling book "You Were Born Rich," which was published in 1984, and being a contributor to the film The Secret, released in 2006. Proctor's techniques maintained the idea that a positive self-image is critical for obtaining success. Sadly, he passed on 3rd of Feb 2022. As you can see here, guys, people, us, we come and go, but our mentalities remain. And some of us hit that legendary level, just like Bob Proctor did. If you were never lucky enough to be Bob Proctor's student, don't worry. it is a loss that we've lost him. It's a huge loss. Granted, yeah, it is a huge loss. However, you guys, us, all of us, we have the opportunity to learn from Bob Proctor's direct student, Leslie Flowers. How lucky are we, right? This is it's sheer luck, isn't it? So, I wouldn't say just sheer luck because of the good decisions we've made in life, we are where we are now, right? And so, Paulette, with regards to visualization and the valid, super valid points that Leslie made earlier, in your line of work, which was helping businesses survive when they're in dire straits, helping them survive. What was your experience with regards to your line of work, visualization before actualization?
I think having an open mind initially, because you don't know what you're going to find when you open those doors, and you don't know what you're going to find when you open the order books, and you actually start to unravel what someone's left in terms of a mess. But I think in terms of having a previous vision, I would say that you go in hoping, you go in wanting, you go in with full of intention that it's going to be fine. You're going to rescue the company. Everyone's going to maintain their jobs and everything's going to be fine. And that's the kind of person and training that I had, was to have that strong mentality. And working with Leslie has only reinforced that even further with the books, because although I'm not working anymore, I wish I'd met Leslie 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because I would have been a better business person because of it. Because having not allowing doubt, not allowing fear to creep in is so vitally important in life. And when you're going in as the, dare I say, the hatchet woman, which is what you're often perceived as, I would have liked to have known that fear should have been outweighed, because I knew that I wasn't going to do that unless it had to happen. But it was the knowledge, and this is what Leslie is doing week on week now. And throughout the whole of the Erada book, there is so much information teaching us about these skill sets that are mindsets, and they are a retraining of the mind. And I am blown away daily whenever I'm with Leslie, at just how much you can do through visualization, through intentional thinking, through outwitting, as she says. So I am absolutely a student of Leslie's. So I'm going Proctor, Leslie, me. So I'm like diluted, I know. But, I'm thoroughly grateful for the knowledge. And when you read the book, you can't help but fall in love with the intention. The book is full of intention. And you have to know that when you're reading it. And when you sometimes you might read things once or twice to be sure. And then you go, now I know where she's going. Now I get it. And so for me, that's the power of Erada, not the possibility, the power of Erada.
The power of Erada.
Because
Now,
that's what's in the book.
Thank you. So we all have, so one of the main questions I've got today for Leslie is that we all have the power to visualize, right? And imagine, right? Before you want to so you said something fantastic last session. You said everything happens twice, once in your head and once in the outside world, right? So before you eat a sandwich, you eat it in your head once, and then you feel, oh, that's such a good feeling to feel satiated with a sandwich and feeling full up. and then you go ahead and buy the sandwich. And so basically everything happens twice. But before, so somebody like me, somebody who creates content and does audio rooms, etc., etc., I'm not always doing what I'm doing. Half the time, I am thinking of what I'm supposed to be doing without even doing it, and I'm in a way procrastinating, right? So in my case, it's because I create podcasts. I'm podcrastinating, right? So yeah, I went there, didn't I? So how is it that a positive mindset can help resolve the negative thing procrastination can be? So how is it? Can I get rid of procrastination? Can I just control it with positive mindset? What am I supposed to do? I'm confused, and it's not every day that I get a chance to ask this particular question and get a particular answer for it. Please bless us with the answer.
Okay. So is the clearer your intention, the better. So ask me your question again, okay, as I
So
want to get.
I suffer with procrastination.
Okay.
And how is it that because we're talking about positive mindset, right? So how
Right.
can we? I'm not sure it's an easy thing to do, to connect these two concepts, like positive mindset, resolving procrastination. How would you go about it?
Okay. So the opposite of procrastination is decision.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Please say
So
that again.
okay, the opposite of procrastination is is decision. And we talked a little bit yesterday about the different laws. This is one of 7 universal laws. This is the law of polarity, which says for every up, there's a down, for every in, there's an out. There's always, for everybody who doesn't like you, there is many people that do like you. The challenge is why are we looking at the people that don't like us, right? Rather than the ones who do. So the intention is critical here, because the clearer your intention, the easier it is to make a decision about anything. So, what happens is with procrastination, a lot of times our vision isn't clear. We're not really sure of what we want, and we're doing more than one goal at a time, which doesn't allow you to stay focused. But let's say that you have a particular goal and it's very clear, and something comes up to interrupt you, a new opportunity. Oh, it looks so good and juicy, right? So the question that you ask yourself based on the goal or the intention that you want to fulfill is, if I take this on, is it going to take me closer to my goal or not? And if it doesn't, you just don't do it now. That's the hardest thing, because we have a sensory overload and there's so many wonderful possibilities, right? For us, we get all sorts of ideas all the time. Plus, if you consider that we don't focus very well. I was having a conversation today with someone about what TikTok is like, that it's really fast sound bites, right? And then I read an article about how the founders of TikTok are very clear that they're creating addictive behavior or phobias, as we were talking about, right? So what happens is when you only take small sound bites, right, you don't have much concentration. And in order to achieve something you want, you have to be able to focus. So one of the things we do using a positive mindset is make sure that that thing that you want is very clear and that you're compelled to do it, so that you won't procrastinate. And if something tries to interrupt you and dilute what you're doing, you simply ask yourself the question right now, is this, if I take on this additional thing, it better take me toward my goal. And if it doesn't, I'm not doing it right now. It doesn't mean that you have to throw it away, but it takes a little discipline and some practice to start saying no. Does that answer your question?
It does beautifully. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Jasmine, thank you so much. Jasmine, have you ever suffered with procrastination? And if so, how do you get rid of it? How do you resolve it?
Okay, so to me, procrastination happens when I, I believe, from my point of view, pain is what pushes me forward. The pain of my situation is what, edges me to go hard. Sometimes people think I'm a bit loony in trying to achieve my goal, but it's the pain of my current situation and how I want to improve so that I can leave a legacy for my daughter that pushes me forward. But in terms of procrastination, when I don't do it, it's when anxiety has sort of overloaded me. So when I feel anxious, that's when I tend to procrastinate a lot because obviously my mindset is not in that strong place where it can say, come on, pick yourself up, let's go forward. So it comes from anxiety, I would say, when I'm procrastinating. I hope that makes sense.
It does, actually, it does.
Yeah, it's actually the anxiety comes from fear.
Yeah.
One of our 6 basic fears, that if I don't do it, this particular one is the fear of criticism or judgment. Well, if I do it and I don't do a good job, what are people going to think of me? So we're second guessing ourselves, which tells you that your desire and your wanting this thing is not stronger than your fear. Only one will prevail, faith or fear, in any given moment. So what you want to do, particularly since you've never done this goal before, or you've done it and you failed at it, effectively what we're doing is building faith in your ability and deservability to do and have this thing, and that you deserve it. So you've now disproved the long-standing thing that you failed at this, because the truth is you did. But the fears that we have are stronger at this point than your higher side. And the idea here is through intention and learning the principles of success in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, understanding how the universal laws actually support you. We have a lot of anxiety as a result of not knowing that there's more than the law of attraction, not knowing that it's a baby, it's the baby law under the law of vibration, and that law has 6 sisters. So imagine you know a little bit about the law of attraction, and it does work, but imagine what you would do and how easy it would be to visualize and relax if you knew about the law of gender or gestation, which tells you the exact day that you're going to achieve your goal. You don't get to say. You can say when you want it, but the universe will decide, which tells you don't give up if it doesn't happen on the day, because it wasn't up to you anyway. It was up to the universe, and when you're ready for it, you'll get it. You may not be ready for it right away, but don't quit. That's the most important thing. Or it could be the law of cause and effect. What you put out there, you get back. The law of vibration says that everything is either growing or disintegrating. So the rooms that we're all in right now are disintegrating. And then we hope it's slowly, right? And it's the same thing with our mindset. We're either growing or we're coasting backward into our comfort zone, right? So, yes, you'll achieve it when you're ready to receive it, but don't use that as an excuse to give up. Because, like with this book, the outline was written 25 years ago, and I set it aside because I was not in a place to write it. And even if I was, the universe has to see that your vibration matches the size of the goal. So this was a very big goal, and I had a lot of learning to do to be able to take that outline and turn it into the book that it is. And it's actually more than I ever thought it was, mostly because of my friend Paulette, who kept saying, "Hey, Natalie, so glad you're here and you found us. Yay, yay." And thank you to Erin Gibson for also reposting and all the people that are doing that. And yes, I see Lachelle is here. Hey, Lachelle, can we go back to her comment? I didn't see that. Is it too much trouble? Because I want to see what she, oh yeah. Okay. Let me move this out of the way so I can see it. I am overwhelmed and no clarity what to do next. Okay. So go back to why you wanted it, right? When you're overwhelmed and you want to procrastinate, you just want to throw in the towel, right? Then simply it's current circumstances over which you have no control. The only thing we have control over, Lachelle, and what a great question, is what we think and how often we think it, and particularly how we feel when we think about it. So the idea here is to put hers back up again, because I want to see that I want to finish speaking to it. There we go. There. So the overwhelm is a confusion about your why. You're allowing effectively your fears and outside conditions and circumstances to interrupt what you want, your intention, your goal. You simply go back to the original thing that you wanted and crystallize it. Picture yourself already having it. Let's say, Lachelle, that your dream is Christmas next year, to purchase a small beach house just off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean near Savannah, Georgia. Now, my geography isn't so good, but let's pretend that Savannah is near the water, okay? Or we could do it anywhere. So it's not like you're standing there looking out at this house that you want to buy. No, that's standing in the present, looking to the future. No, you want to step inside the house and use what Mary Morrissey calls five sensorizing, which is start to look for birds, smell. You're going to smell the ocean, right? So these senses are senses, and you're walking in there. So Lachelle, you could be barefoot, and it's a brand new house, and everybody's getting ready. All 15 of your children are getting ready to come down, let's say for Christmas next year, and you are so excited, and you're walking around in the house barefooted. You've just had the floors varnished and shellacked, and your feet are sticking. You can hear the stickiness. So what you've effectively done is you've used the vibration that comes up with the memory. It's attached. Just like with bad thoughts, good thoughts also carry with them that higher vibration. Only one will be in charge. Usually it's fear. But in this case, all you really need to do, Lachelle, is just go back and revisit the why. What difference is it going to make? Is it one thing? What is it like to visualize as though you already have it, right? Who will it affect? Who is it going to impact? Is it going to be something big for the world? Is it going to give you abundance, your family abundance, whatever it is? It has to outweigh the fear. And the fear is the fear of criticism, right? If I do it wrong, what are people going to think? It's very natural through our experience. So that's what you do. And I hope that helps, Lachelle.
She just showed us some heart emojis.
All the hearts.
I think you hit the target there.
I think so. I was going to say one thing very quickly. Leslie always says to me, out of chaos comes clarity. And I think that is something that I have taken from you, and I'm greatly grateful for it, because it's so true. Because you can be in the thick of something, and that creates the procrastination. But out of that chaos becomes clarity, and then you know you're on the path.
That's right. Then you can ask the question. But then you can ask that simple question. But it all hinges on your intention. It all hinges on that one thing that you want, why you want it, and what difference it's going to make in the world. And if you think that you're not expert enough, I've got news to tell you here. You are. There are people that do not know what you know already. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not good enough to teach this, or I'm not good enough to write a book. I mean, what do I know? I just started in this industry a year or 2 years. What you want to understand is you've heard when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So there are already people coming toward you, my friends, that are seeking the information you have. And they may only be able to hear it from you. We don't resonate with everybody, right? Someone may resonate with me and not resonate with me and resonate with Jasmine and how she explains it. So if you don't step out there and teach those who don't know what you know, then it's kind of selfish in a way, because that means that you're actually stopping certain people from growing because you were the one. So, yeah.
It's interesting you should say that, Leslie, because I've written a book, a children's book, and I've hidden it basically. I haven't actually published it. So you're speaking directly to me. And I'm actually in
Oh,
the
wow.
process of, yeah, I'm actually in the process of writing a book with Cyrus. So you're speaking to me here. And it's interesting as well, Bob Proctor's birthday is my birthday. So that got my eyes a bit
Oh,
wide-eyed. Yeah,
And my
yeah.
sister,
So,
and my sister. And,
oh,
let me just
yeah.
tell you a little bit about Proctor. So, I told you yesterday how I ended up getting to know him, and it was just through a series of intuitive nuances that actually had me do things against my better judgment. Yes, Aaron is a legend. Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate your support, Aaron, and all of you that are here. Thank you for being not giving up and finding us. Right, I really appreciate that. Yes, he is a legend. So what I want to tell you is that Proctor spent 50 or 60 years becoming the world's thought leader on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And you mentioned You Were Born Rich, that book that he wrote, and I actually did the first mastermind for You Were Born Rich when I was involved working with him. You probably didn't even know he had that. Most of the masterminds were based on Think and Grow Rich, but Bob wrote this book, You Were Born Rich, and I took it on. And I was also fortunate enough to be able to do the editing, the line editing, and the production of the workbooks that went out to all the life success consultants. And as far as I know, I'm the only person that's kept it up 16 years, every day, every week. And I've extrapolated. He put in 60 years. I added 16 on top of that. So now I have a hybrid program, which includes the work he taught me. And I sat at his knee. There was even a time when I questioned one of his concepts, right? And he spoke about an idea, a thought, changing into a different belief. So we have certain beliefs. And when you create a new one, the old one doesn't go away. And this is what I brought up to him. He says, because this will completely change that belief. And I said, Bob, is that the case? Do you really change this thought energy for another kind of energy? Or are you effectively adding a faith, a faith or a belief? And he said, you're absolutely right, Leslie. This was a smaller circle in 2009. What what is this picture? I guess you're waking every.
I'll explain in a few moments. I'll explain.
Okay. So I just wanted to tell you that the other thing is that once you're good at what you do, when I wrote this book, like I said, Paulette was the one who said, oh, Leslie, this is what you teach. Oh, this is this here. This is this here. Oh, can you see that this is this? And I said, no, because I just wrote it. And the culmination of the infusion of this material over the last 16 years, some 20,000 hours, is what allowed me to craft the story, but not being aware that there were any particular concepts in there. It's just who I am. So there.
Thank you.
That's interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Thank you
Jasmine.
so much. Now, echoing what Leslie was saying, I'm going to say, you gotta keep going.
Mhm.
Stopping is not an option.
Right.
It never was, it never is, never will be. If you want to achieve your goals, right? You got to visualize it. You got to be ready for it to achieve it as well. Okay, you can't. A negative mind never gave anyone a positive life. Okay, so you got to keep remembering that, right? Keep going, keep going, keep going. If you stop, nobody cares. If you stop, right? Nobody cares if you stop. So the life is going to go on. I'm just being straightforward with you guys, right? You got to be realistic, right? If we didn't create this video room, somebody else would, right? If we didn't gather here to help each other, if I didn't come here to help you guys, somebody else would, right? So
Mhm.
I might as well be a part of something great, right? Now, before 2019, I was this guy in the red t-shirt. I mean, figuratively and not literally. I'm really glad I wasn't him. I'm not him, and I will never be him, right? So I was behaving the way he was doing because I was trying to achieve success solo. One of the ugliest words that human beings ever invented is the concept of solopreneurship. Recently, everyone's advocating that word. Oh yeah, I'm a solopreneur. Well, when are you gonna? Why are you adding an extra unnecessary hurdle to this long marathon? Why? Why are you adding one? You might as well be an entrepreneur, right? You might as well create a team or be a part of one. Either create a team, be the head of that team, either be a good leader or be a good follower. In order to achieve success, you either need to be following someone great. We are following Leslie Flowers. I'm proud of it. I am a leader in my own organization, but I need to be connected to a greater source of power, of energy, and enthusiasm. That's why I've got Paula Talent. That's why I've got Jasmine Ofori. That's why I've got Leslie Flowers amongst my friends. And then where am I spending my time? Here. I know what's good for me. What's good for me is to be amongst these amazing people, right? Please, please, please don't be that guy in the red shirt, right? Be the one in the yellow shirt. Be the one in the black shirt. Don't be the guy in the because otherwise you would be spending your time and energy doing something that makes very, very little sense. If you're not a part of a team, no matter how much of a positive thinker you are, you're not going to make any difference in this world. You're not going to make any difference in your own life. Leslie, what's your take on that, please?
Well, yeah. No, you said it very well. Really, in this picture, if you look at it, it's about pushing, and you don't have to push. Your goal will come to you. So what I see here is to understand the power of mastermind and the power of a team, and quite, by accident here, well, or partially intentional, Aaron offered to spend time today making sure that everything was going, because he wants, right, he wants this to be successful for the world. For me, sure. And for you, sure. Hey, Miss Noni, so good to see you. Hey, yesterday I had this. Look, I have to show you. You weren't here yesterday, but look what oops. Here we go. Here we go. No, here it is. Yeah. Look, Noni. Yesterday it was really hot in here. So this is the fan that Noni Veroni brought from the Bahamas to San Francisco and sent to me. So good to see you, Miss Noni Veroni. So I think that's, where it is, what's important here. And I think we have to get over our fear of criticism. Like, we just have to do everything ourselves. We just have to do that. But the real sign of leadership is you have to have been a follower and surrendered, right? Because if you're a leader, if you've never surrendered and say, okay, I'm going to do it this way. I may not agree with it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Well, I did a surrender today. Okay, I'm doing it this way. I'm surrendering. So when then you become a leader, when that person that you're leading is having a challenge, you understand what it was like. Surrendering is not easy because you have this fear, of the six. You've got the fear of criticism, fear of judgment, right? If I do it wrong, right? I don't want to do it this way. And so they're all automatic reactions, but it really takes something to surrender. And when you can surrender to that, then you'll be a better leader, a much better leader, because you can be empathetic to the people that were in the same spot you were in, just like helping other people to learn everything you know. And then once they know that, they'll move on to someone else, just like I do. Right. So I had studied 10 years in leadership and transformation when I found myself at Bob Proctor's door. And I just knew this was the next step. 6 months later, I was certified as a coach, a consultant, and began to study the work that he had created all around Think and Grow Rich, which is the #2 bestseller of all times. And all your personal development greats, while they may not tell you this, all their programs are built on Think and Grow Rich, and most all of them studied under Proctor too. But they don't always tell you that. But I'll tell you that the work that I've done on top of his work has created this hybrid program that has yielded incredible documented results of people simply learning to apply these things. And they ultimately realize, hey, I didn't have to worry so much. The universe or God has my back. Well, we say that, but experiencing it builds faith. Yes, the opposite of procrastination is decision. Remember that guy that gave up? Neither neither does anybody else. Very funny. Very funny.
So I think it's time to remind us why we are here again, guys.
Okay.
Voices go, her stories touch both young and old. Through every line, the heart she frees. In her words, we find the keys. She walks the line of fate and chance, spinning tales that make us dance. With rivers clear and glowing streams, she fills our hearts with endless dreams. A crown of stars upon her brow, she leads us through the here and now. Leslie Flowers, queen of dreams and magic power. Queen of dreams and magic. She paints the stars, draws the skies, where magic lives and never dies. Where magic lives and never dies. In Erada's world, her voice is gold. The stories touch both young and old. Through every line, the heart she frees. In her words, we find the keys. In Erada's lands, the spirits soar.
Thank you so much. Now, Leslie, another thing that I wanted to discuss here is optimism. Some people say optimism can cause creativity, right? Can bring about creativity. I've thought about it for a while, right? And as an artist, like you're an author, you're an artist in more than one way, right? You've created this amazing book, the Possibility of Erada, which is available on Amazon, guys. By the way, please go ahead and grab your own copy. So, I've always thought an artist is the child that survived adulthood, right? So you managed to keep that child alive within you, that child within, right?
Yes.
And you should be so proud of yourself. I am so proud of you for doing that, because children create without the fear of criticism. They just create something. And some my little sister sometimes would come to me and say, come to the bathroom. I was like, what is it that you want me to see? And then she would show me something in a bathroom area that no brother or sister or parent wants to see, right? So we would flush it and everything. And then she was so proud of it. She thought, when she was a child, we still to this day we're taking a mick out of her, saying, you thought what you did there was art. And then she feels so embarrassed. Okay. But only a child would think that is art, right? So they create with no judgment, no fear of no criticism. They think everything they do is worthy of an applaud. And as we grow up, we somehow we distance ourselves from that creative process, and which is not fair on our future success. It's not fair on us. So how is it that we can use optimism and positive thinking to keep creativity alive? How is it that we can do that, in your view?
Yeah. So really, what effectively has happened is the child is really where all this is based. The whole process is based on children. So you really got into a very good point. And the point being that their fears are not as strong and well developed as ours.
Mhm.
So they, not yet. So
Not yet.
they tend, right, that not yet. So they tend to easily outweigh the fear, any fear they might have, to go after what they want. Now, what's happened to all of us is, probably for me in about third grade, all I heard the teacher say was, Leslie, stop daydreaming and pay attention to the lesson.
What's a negative
Right?
thing to say? Yeah.
Right. But they didn't know. So we actually were moved away from using our imagination, right, in school
Pushed away.
repeatedly. And so effectively what happens is, when someone comes to me and they're challenged with visualizing or imagining something they've never done before, it's like winter in northern Canada and the faucets have frozen, right? So for decades the faucet of imagination has been clogged. But
Oh,
it is a
wow.
muscle. It is a muscle, and it's conscious, and it grows in direct proportion to its use. So in the work that I do, what we do is we start to melt down, right, the frozen imagination. And I can remember one of my clients saying, I can't imagine anything. And by the time she was finished with 2 of the 12-week courses, her imagination was back. So because we haven't used it, it's like any muscle, it's atrophied. And when you use visualization and you understand that imagination and intuition are how we tap into the universe as our partner, that's where all our ideas come from. It just takes practice. You get better and better at it. The more you exercise, the stronger you get. It's the truth with imagination. So we really, at this age, we have bigger fears, well established. So that's why it's so critical in your intention that it has to outweigh those fears. Now, with children, they don't have such big fears, so they just go for it, right? They just go for it. But we as adults, we stop ourselves. Those fears stop us. Yeah, but Leslie, you tried that before and you were a failure. And what are other people going to think if you don't come out smelling like a rose? So those fears say, and we have faith in those fears because we have failed. So that's what shuts us down right away with a new idea. And so one of the tricks to not let that happen. If you get a new wild idea that's very imaginative and creative, you never thought of it before, oh my God, you had no clue how to do it, right? At that point, take 2 steps. Because the moment you get into action, the fear disappears temporarily. And that's when it's the worst. When we first get that creative idea from the universe that we've never had before, and we're compelled, right? It's going to make a difference in the world. Whatever it is, you just know this is your thing to do now. And look, our purposes are all the same. Our purpose through our lives is to serve. But what happens is our purposes change over the decades based on what we've learned and our experience of life. So in one 10-year period, you might be a teacher, and then you decide you're going to go back to school and you get a degree and go work into corporate. And then maybe after that, so it's all about service, and that's your purpose. But it isn't just, it doesn't always stay the same. You're going to change. So for the imagination piece, it is a muscle, it's clogged up, and it's part of the work is to release it. Because if you can't imagine and visualize, then you would have you can't manifest, you can't achieve very easily, because visualization is the DNA of manifestation. It's the liquid syrup, and there's a lot of it on Erada. It's the liquid syrup imagination is that brings up those beautiful memories, raises your vibration. And it's just like when there are 2 kinds of seeds. One is the physical seed. The acorn laying on the ground is a seed, and it's dying. And if you sliced it open and looked at it under a microscope, and I learned this from Bob Proctor. I've been telling this story for a lot of years, right? His stories were good. If you looked at it under a microscope, there's no little oak tree inside the acorn. What's there is the DNA to attract to it from the soil, from the weather, from the environment, what is required for it to break ground and sprout as an oak tree, a little one. Now, the only difference is that our seed is thought energy. It's an idea, and it has no roots, just like the acorn. And when we plant it, that is, we think about it, we fall deeply in love with it. We're compelled. It's all we can think of. You've got to get really clear on what the intention is. And then over a period of time, every day, every other day, you resurrect the visual image of your already having it, of Lachelle walking around her beach house, and she sees the kids driving down the road for Christmas, right? And right then a seagull poops on the deck. So Lachelle runs and cleans it up because she doesn't want the little feet, the grandkids' feet, to hit that. So you're living in the future, in the present. And that is what happened on Erada this summer in creating a 7.5-minute movie book trailer with Aaron. I wanted the story to show up visually. So I created the 12 storyboards, the 12 points. And then from that, he created the visual images. So now, once you read the book, if you watch that 7.5-minute trailer, you'll be able to pick out, oh, this was that. Okay, I get it now. This was that. Oh, this is how Erada was formed. What are people talking about? Someone said, what in the world does baseball have to do with any of this? Right? I mean, it's the most crazy thing, but you must understand that I have a lovely grandson who is all involved in baseball the last few years. So when I began to craft it, that was the idea that popped into my mind. And so it was actually a baseball game that was the source of the book and of Erada. Does that answer your question?
That's phenomenal. Yeah, of course it does. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, good.
Now, the next thing I want to discuss is so that was a connection between creativity and optimism, right? Now, positive thinking and optimism helps people continue in that journey they've got. Keep going on and on and on, keep going until they reach their goal, right?
Right.
So I was going to say, some people say optimism. I'm sure, almost sure you are one of those people as well. Optimism can turn dreams into like actionable plans, like, because you actually, I'll let you explain this bit yourself, how optimism can get people to turn their optimism turn their dreams into actionable plans, because it all starts with a dream, with a concept, and then many people stop at that level. They don't take it further to turn it into actionable plans. And when you don't have an actionable plan, you don't have any actions. And if you have actions and you don't have a plan, you're doomed to fail, right? So I've got a guest for you here as well, by the way. Angelica's here, by the way.
Hi, Angelica. Oh, I'm so glad you found us and you made it. Angelica is wonderful. She is a film director, phenomenal. Just love her. She's hosting all kinds of things for
Podcaster.
the Hispanic month, right? Celebrating the Hispanic culture. There's Roxana. Roxana is a mathematics teacher. And I know her from New England, but I think she's on the south of the East Coast of the United States right now. So thank you for being here, Roxana, Dr. Roxana. Okay, so you wanted me to explain.
Optimism.
Okay,
How
okay,
optimism turns dreams into actionable plans.
right. So the optimism is the positive thinking. Now remember or consider that the only thing we can control is what we think, and this is not the brain. Mind is a cellular activity. Your thinking causes the way you feel. So if you're thinking bad things, you're dragging your feet. And if you're thinking really good things and you're optimistic, it raises your vibration. You get excited. Maybe you get goosebumps. Oh, Netflix. Okay. Yes, I agree. I agree.
Aaron, you're brilliant. Aaron says, "Hey,
Yeah.
Netflix, this needs to be a movie series." That's brilliant. Well, it will turn into a movie series, Aaron, once you're in it at some point as well. So,
Oh, yes.
sorry for interrupting you. Please go ahead.
Oh, no, I got to remember where I am now, right? Because there are squirrels and there are interruptions, as we all
Yeah.
know.
So we were talking
Okay,
about.
so it's really the optimism piece is about the clarity of what you want. And it's developing a habit, right? So habits, you've heard people say, well, in 21 days, you can develop a new habit, right? No, it doesn't stick necessarily.
Mhm.
So in my experience, you can go from habit to faith. Once you complete the thing that you never knew how to do or that you had failed at before, now you've developed perfect faith in your ability and your deservability. Now that faith in yourself, which disproved the old thing, moves into the subconscious, but it's still not enough. So your job is to do things that you've never done before that are in service to others, do them well, and every time you do that, you grow in awareness of your infinite potential. You've created a new faith in yourself, and you've disproven those old fears from when you were younger that you also listen to repeatedly. So the thing is I've discovered that about 90 days is about as long as people will stay motivated on one goal long enough to achieve it. So, and you focus on one, and then you create a habit, a flowing kind of habit of thinking about it in spaced repetitive intervals over time. So in my 12-week program, as an example, every week you will be live, and I will be teaching you the principles of success and universal laws, and we will have a conversation about what is your goal going to be this 12 weeks. And we narrow it down to the one that's the most compelling for you, the one when I see in your eyes that, oh my God, you're lit up. That is the goal. That is the juice. And I had slipped away from mind being a cellular activity. There's a couple of scientists, Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief, and James Brody, Virus of the Mind. They've proven that mind is a cellular activity. But that vibration is what, that amplitude of vibration is the speed with which your manifestation is coming to you. So if you're procrastinating, you're unclear, you're lazy, sitting on the couch, whatever, you're overwhelmed or whatever it is, then that vibration is so low, it slows down what you want. So by simply every other day thinking about what it is your goal is, what your intention is, and resurrecting on the screen of your mind, which is about right here, about 20 degrees above the line of sight, what rushes in with it is how you feel. It spikes your vibration. And then in my class, then a couple of days later, you meet with your accountability partner to check that week the couple of tasks toward the 12-week goal. Now, remember, we do not map it all the way out, because then you won't be open to what you've already caused in the universe. People and opportunities showing up that you used to think were a coincidence, but they're really not. You were cause in the matter. The universe sent them to you to help you. But if you're stuck in milestones and knowing every single step, if something doesn't work, you can't release that obstacle and look around. So as I told you yesterday, I had a plan after the launch of Erada, and it was a very specific plan, and I had everything in order to do it, and then it didn't work out. So most people would just give up. But no, I did not give up, because as soon as I let go of it, like, okay, this is not going to work, 3 other things showed up, 3 other paths, and I got to choose. But can you see that if you already knew how to achieve it and you ran into one of the obstacles you would set up, that you would spend most of your time in overwhelm, procrastinating, right? Or trying to find another solution and not focusing on the end point.
Thank you.
So you have to kind of create a rhythm that every other day you're thinking about it, and then your body gets used to it. Now, for me, I've been teaching for years to look for the greatness in other people. It sounds kind of thin, right?
Thank
But
you.
it's a practice. And now I always look for the greatness in other people. So when I acknowledge people, it's how you show up for me. And it's always better. Well, for me anyway, it's always better than what we think of ourselves. Hey, there's Miss Melissa. Please, Cyrus, over
Yeah,
to you.
sure. I'd like to thank everybody who's just who's joined us since the beginning of the show. They joined us in the middle, and people who joined us towards the end. Guys, you could spend your time anywhere, but you're spending it with us. I am thankful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Now, the next. Thank you so much for your great insights, Leslie.
Mhm.
You
Sure.
are amazing. A reminder, guys. Erada.
Possibility of Erada. Oh, the possibility of Erada.
Thank you so much. So, Possibility of Erada is available on Amazon, guys. Please go ahead and grab your own copy. Once you've read it, please send a message to Dr. Leslie Flowers. Explain to her, or maybe in just one word, I've finished reading it. And then we're going to create an audio video room for people who have read the book, and whether you've seen tangible outcomes yet or not yet, please do not worry. You are in good hands. You are in Leslie Flowers' hands. We will create an audio or video room, and in order to do so, we need to populate a list. Send your availability, send your names, send your willingness in a direct message to Dr. Leslie Flowers, and she will arrange for a special room for people who have purchased the book and have seen tangible outcomes from it, or not seen tangible outcomes from it yet, and then she will show you how to resolve that issue. So and those of you who have read the book, guys, please go to Amazon and leave your review on there, because your view and your review matters for the next person. Well, yes, granted, Leslie has written the book, yes, like 99% is her, but let's be that 1%. Complete the teamwork, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. The dream is to get the book to work for us, right? And we have got the book, right? And we are reading the book. You might as well see the benefits of reading such an amazing book. She spent how long? Only 20 years, guys. 2 decades. Not a joke. Not a joke. She spent 20 years of her life gathering the knowledge and information, and all of a sudden, bam. So that she's living proof that, guys, don't despair if you haven't hit your goals yet, right? At some point you will hit that target. Before we bring the room to an end, Paulette, what is your view on tonight's show so far? I've really enjoyed it. How do you feel about it?
Absolutely wonderful. You see, the thing that people probably fail to realize is that Leslie lives, sleeps, breathes, everything that she does is this work. And so when I pointed out so many things in the book that are part of all the laws that she teaches, and when you hear her speak, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the company of greatness. And that's what we must always remember. So Leslie says she sees the greatness in us, but it's very rare that we're allowed to say it back. But we do see the greatness in you, Leslie. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be sat here. So well done.
Thank you, Paulette. Thank
you,
you.
Paulette.
Thank you. And thank you, Cyrus and Jasmine as well. And all of you who are here today. It means the world. It means the world.
A pleasure. Jasmine, what's your take on the room so far? I hope you've been enjoying yourself as well.
Oh, yes. I've definitely gained clarity from listening to what Leslie has to say, overcoming that overwhelm, that anxiety, and just getting clear on my goals and pushing forward. Thank you, Leslie, for your words of wisdom. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, my dear.
And the book cover, I always say it's beautiful. So please purchase it. It's not too expensive.
It's the price of
no, it's not. It's actually it's still on the pre-release. I dropped the price down. I don't know. I just felt like doing it, so it's at the launch price, so you can get it, and it's print on demand. Just know that we're working on the audiobook of the first one, and the second book is already in the works because we're in the third chapter because people said at the end, what's next for these two people? What is next? Like it wasn't enough to end it there. Oh boy. Somebody's calling someone.
Sorry, it was my mom. It was my mom.
Okay. That's okay. I say, well, they always let your mother call, right? So there's a lot more coming. This was one baby that wasn't going to be birthed and then just languish. And that's why we're doing this, because this is the kind of thing that we need now in our world. We have a lot of stress and anxiety and a lot of negativity. And I will tell you, your imagination is incredibly powerful. Just look at children. They create all the time. You did it when you were a child. So the trick is then to resurrect the muscle of imagination along with a whole bunch of other ones. And that's the work that I do. So you can learn that.
Leslie, sometimes the dreams come true because I always wanted to meet Bob Proctor. I've seen his lives before he passed. I've seen his life. I never got to meet him, but I met you. So sometimes dreams come true in a different way. They transform. It's not exactly how you imagine them. Then sometimes your dreams reimagine themselves in your head.
Something, you just reminded me of something that I've been thought about in a very long time. Years ago, when I first started this, gosh, this was 16 years ago, maybe 14, 13 years ago, I created a graphic that had Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, and me.
Oh, wow.
The three of us, Andrew Carnegie, and poor Bob Proctor wasn't even in there, right? I just skipped right over him, right? Poor guy. But it was the visual image that I was there with both of them. Now, this was at least a decade ago. So now what I'm sensing is that something, the universe is moving things toward me. And part of the reason, I will tell you, that over the 20 years that I didn't work on the book, I didn't think about it much at all, because it was growing, it was developing its seeds, it was growing roots right in the universe. And then when it was time to write it, I got the idea, and within a week I was writing it, and in 12 weeks I finished it. So sometimes the idea has to hibernate for a long time. You see, you have to be the vibrational match to the thing that you've created so you get to enjoy it, right? This is why you don't want to win the lottery, because you don't know how to manage that kind of money. And it's a lot of overwhelm. And now people say, just let me win the lottery one time. No, most of those people, I heard Melissa talking about this the other day in her one of her rooms, was that people that win the lottery end up worse off in almost every single case, because they're not a vibrational match to be able to handle that money. They didn't earn it. They didn't go through the learning, etc. So for me, what happened is evidently the universe gave up. Like, I had done enough to take this idea that I created some 25 years ago, but I didn't know how big it was. So when the universe, and one of those universal laws, said, okay, now you've done your work, now go ahead and write it. And it turned out the way it did. And I got to enjoy every minute of it. There was no real overwhelm. There was no real anxiety. There was nothing but enjoying it. I spend most of my time on Erada. I mean, I lived there, right? That's all I thought about. And that's what I think about now, because it's all so positive. So thank you. Yes, Rukia, our repetitive thoughts are powerful. That is the 1, 2, 3, I think the fourth principle of success, which is auto-suggestion, self-suggestion. This is how we learn. This is how we got our fears. This is how we got our faith. So all we're really doing is focusing in on the process that gave us those things. And that's what my work is. And that's why you only do one goal at a time, because there's a very specific thing that you walk through to encompass all of this, enjoy the hell out of yourself, and achieve. And that is really what we were put here to do.
Thank you, Thank you so much. Leslie, this was another phenomenal live session with yourself. Thank you so much for generously sharing your knowledge, which you have achieved over the decades of working hard in this industry. Thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm with us and sharing your smile, like always. Thank you so much. And before we go, I would like to thank our phenomenal sponsors, Jasmine Ofori. A few words before we bring the room to an end.
Oh, positivity is something that's contagious. Let your light shine, don't dim it. Let it shine so others will also shine.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jasmine Ofori is our social media specialist and the fantastic CEO of Jew Digital, the creator of Jew Digital, and also Paulette Hallam. Paulette, your dog's not snoring anymore. Did you wake your dog up? What have you done?
Teddy.
The
Paulette, I can't hear you,
snoring
Paulette.
animal. I
Say that
said
again, sorry.
Teddy is being controlled by Charles. Sorry, Charles has got
Oh,
Teddy under control because the snoring was so loud he couldn't hear me. The one thing I want to say, and this is something I find so important to say, and I hope Leslie doesn't mind me taking just a few seconds. The world right now is a horrible mess. This book is all about virtues, unity, generosity, mercy, modesty, service, gentleness, honesty, enthusiasm, courage, justice, tolerance, compassion. Every single thing I say there is the world is in lack at the moment. If we can do anything from Erada to the planet, this is what we need. We need to bring back those virtues. So please buy your book, bring those virtues back because we need it on our planet. Thank you, Leslie.
thank you so much, Paulette. Guys, Paulette Hallam is a best-selling author, and she's the phenomenal author of Jack and Walter series. And what was your website again? Sorry, was it walterontheweb.com?
WalterOnTheWeb.com. Is that the right? She's appears to be a little frozen.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, my internet's a bit all over the place. It got a storm, I think. Sorry, you were saying, Cyrus.
Yep. Your internet connection is poorer than me between Christmas and New Year, Paulette.
She's frozen again.
Yeah, she's frozen again. Paulette. Okay, she'll be back soon. She'll be back soon. Before we finish, guys, I just wanted to read this bit from the Possibility of Erada.
Okay, my internet lost. Sorry about that, guys. Am I back?
Oh, welcome back. I was going to say, what was your website address again? Sorry.
WalterOnTheWeb.com.
Yeah, walterontheweb.com. So,
Okay.
guys, in case you were wondering what kind of stuff you can find in the book, very quickly, I'm going to read this to you. Before her mother had finished, the disc melted on the table and was gone, leaving only a small, flat pool of water. The girl was flabbergasted. Her mother did this? Perhaps she was... You're going to have to read the rest, guys. You're going to have to read the rest to find out.
Oh, that was mean.
So, Leslie, thank you so much. This concludes second session out of our total 10 sessions of the Possibility of Erada live video rooms. So we will see you next week on Saturday, same time, for the third session. And in the third session, we're going to be discussing the science behind positive thinking and the neural pathways. So thank you so much, Paulette. Thank you so much, Jasmine and Leslie Flowers. You look extra beautiful today, Leslie. You are amazing. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
So, Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely evening, guys. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. Think about investing in the Possibility of Erada on Amazon. Do your own, buy your own copy of Possibility of Erada. It is available soon. The audiobook is going to come out as well. Enjoy yourself. Have a lovely week ahead of you.
Thank you, guys. You take
Thank
care,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
The possibility of Erada, Erada.